Welcome to Behind the Boot, a Louisiana sports podcast. Your favorite weekly show bringing you the latest news in Saints, Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and more. Enjoy the show.
What up? What up? Welcome to another episode of Behind the Boot, your favorite weekly Louisiana sports podcast where we got you if you're looking for the latest Saints news, Pelicans news, LSU, whatever it is in Louisiana sports. If it's relevant, we are talking about it. This is episode 30. We appreciate y'all stopping by another week. A lot to talk about, man. I think it was a interesting week. It was definitely some a lot of news that came in from today, actually. Before we get started, man, shameless plug. First off, I want to say I'm glad to be back, but shameless plug here. Anybody that's listening, go get your booster, man. Do what you gotta do. I don't care how y'all feel about it. Go get it, man. It's not COVID is not a fun thing to have, man. I had to shake it, but I'm back, man. I'm feeling good, feeling better than ever. Now, ready to get into some news, man. I want to start with um the news that everybody want to get to, which is Zion Williamson, man. He posts a video of him dunking. Crazy dunk, by the way, might I add. Um, a lot of mixed reactions on what it could possibly mean. So I'm gonna start with y'all and see what y'all interpret from the video. So I'm gonna start with Dan. Dan, what do you think? Because obviously he's a very cryptic guy, right? He don't really say much directly, but he speaks in these. I feel like he throws these little messages out. Now, I don't usually do this in my personal day to day, but we're doing a podcast, so it's fun to speculate, man. If you had to guess, what would you say Zion is trying to get out to the fan base, trying to get out to the naysayers with that video?
That I'm ready and I want to fucking play. It's you don't put out that video after everybody left the facility. It looked like it's just two motherfuckers in there, him and the person recording, and put out that video at like 8 o'clock last night. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a direct shot saying I'm ready, I'm healthy, and I'm ready to play. And then not let me play. So it's kind of like this 2019 season whenever he was been saying he was ready to play and they held him back and took him slow and all the other stuff is reminiscent of that. Except it's a little later on in the season. So let the man play, man. The man want to play, let him play. It'll go a long way in negotiations because we got to sign him to a contract more likely. Let the man play. It's simple as that. You got to let him play. If he healthy enough to play, look, I know that's your investment and everything. I know y'all, but just imagine you not able to invest in him, and he say, "Nah, I'm not signing a contract with him because I want to play, and y'all don't let me play." Let the man play. Is he healthy? Get him out on the floor. Simple as that.
I would definitely tend to agree. I feel like that is very clear that that's the message he's trying to send, by posting that video. I think especially from his point of view, it's a lot of he sees the negativity. He sees the people, making the fat jokes, saying that he don't want to be in New Orleans, that he'll never play another game for the Pelicans and all this. So I like the energy behind the video, but that kind of bring me to another question. And Jerrette, we're gonna have a little role playing right here. Pause. But I'm Zion and his camp, right? And you Aaron Nelson. So I walk into your office. It's me, my whoever represent me from my camp, and I say, "Hey, Mr. Nelson, look, I know what the scans say. I know what the doctors say as far as risk of re-injury or the potential for me to aggravate the injury, but I want to play. Please let me get out on the court, even if it's for the last 5 games or so." And you, as Aaron Nelson, what do you say? Now keep in mind, you obviously got the team's future is being weighed on this call. So what do you say to that?
If I'm if I'm Aaron Nelson, all right. So he's stuck in the middle of some shit, right? So this can go either one or two ways. He can be like, you know what? Okay, I think it's progressing good. Let's give you a shot. Let's start ramping you up, right? So that's why today he got the official ability to do one-on-ones. That's what I think. After that video, they had a talk. So Aaron Nelson, me being Aaron Nelson, okay, cool. Let's ramp you up. We give you 2 weeks, right? If everything we start you out onesie one, then 3-on-3, and then we gotta get you. You gotta get your practice time. You know, you can't just throw them out there. You gotta know sets. You gotta know the plays. You gotta know what everybody likes to do. So I say, give them 2 weeks, ramp up. Let's do all this. If nothing happens, if you still feel good, there's no setback, there's uh no type of soreness or anything, cool. Let him go. But then now if he goes playing devil's advocate, let's say something does happen, you know. Let's say he gives the full go and then he has another setback. Now he has to face Griff in national media, be like, yo, why did you do that? Like now it backfires on him. So it's about taking risk. So it's just how much of a risk do you want to take, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. So we kind of had some technical difficulties in the middle of that, but I did get the gist of what you were saying. Like it's definitely a risk of, you know, do we let him play because he wants to play, which is obviously what's going to keep him happy, or do we, if we do that, we run the risk of aggravating this injury and then this compounding into a worse situation. You know what I mean? So obviously the team wants to see him healthy. Um, I think primarily they want to protect the investment. They definitely invested in Zion as a player. They've, you know, put they're about to put a lot of money into him once they get this extension done, which to me it just seemed inevitable. I don't foresee them not offering him an extension. Um, there's a lot to think about. I think with the way that his career has gone, just the first 3 years, I do think that we should be wary of playing it too cautious. Like I think eventually it's like caging a wild animal, man. Eventually they gonna do what wild animals do. They wanna do that. You know what I mean? And I think Zion wants to play basketball. So and I do hear what you're saying. I do think that the team wants to take the cautious approach. But there's not a lot of season left, man. Like that's my only thing where I'm looking towards um you know, if we do take on that risk, what is the possible benefit? I don't think it's gonna sway the season either way or another. Um, if he does play, I think there is like if he's healthy enough to play and he has the opportunity to, like to be fully cleared medically, then you go ahead and you let him play. But otherwise, me personally, I'm cool with just waiting until next year. Like I like what they built. I think they have a lot to build on. I think going into a full off season where Zion can actually um, learn his team actually on the court. You know what I mean? Like I would love to see him participate in something like they did in where'd they go for before in the off season before the season started. You know what I'm talking about?
Arizona.
Yeah, wherever they went. Um, I would love to see him participate in stuff like that. Um, he hasn't played with people like Herb. He hasn't played with CJ McCollum. It's been a while since he's been on the court with even BI. You know what I mean? So there's certain things that we can gain from seeing him on the court, but I don't think as far as like from the team perspective that it's gonna really sway anything either way. Um, but we'll definitely keep an eye on that. I really do want to see him on the court. But we did get a tweet. I originally saw it from Aaron Summers. I'm sure it came from somewhere else before her. But Larry Nance is playing next game. Dan, what do you think? What do you think the effect of Larry Nance being thrown in the mix is going to be, besides completely killing Billy minutes?
Well, that's what I was gonna start off with, and I feel bad because Billy's been playing damn good lately, man.
Damn good.
This guy's been
I like that.
damn double. It's just the hustle. I love the hustle. He coming in with energy, man. I still think they'll find some minutes. I don't think he'll be getting 20 no more, but maybe 10. I think it's gonna provide, but in the layman sense, I think it's gonna really provide a lot more defensive versatility in the second unit. He's going to be able to switch on people, not like Billy. He's going to be able to hard heads, a screen and roll, and actually be able to show and move his feet, unlike Billy. It's going to be Lob City. It's going to be a very big boost of athleticism on the court. It ain't going to be no flucking a dunk or shorting a layup. Just unathleticism out there. It's gonna be. It ain't gonna be him getting mad at the rim by Miles Plumlee. I mean,
hopefully it'll be some rebounds too, because I love Billy energy, man.
And he can
but
rebound.
That thing where he just want to tip everything in, that shit drive me, bro. And Willie Green be telling him, like, in the game, he be telling him, bro, come down with the rebound. Has he made a tip in at all this year?
I think he made a couple of times.
Like, but he does that every time. If he's under the rim, he'll try to tip it in. And I know he hasn't missed them all, but he definitely missed them way more than he make them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be glad to see somebody who can just grab a rebound, which I think Larry Nance will be able to do. I hear a lot about his IQ with a game. So yeah. I think that'll be a big bonus because, like a lot of people bring up, especially like in the spaces, we need high IQ players, like guys that just know how to hoop. You don't have to be the greatest guy talent-wise, but being on the court, similar to with Josh Hart. Like, I don't think Josh Hart was a guy for us that we was just looking to take over the game, even though he kind of showing he can do that in Portland. But he was so good for us because he just knew how to play the game of basketball. Like, his effect was strong because Willie didn't have to yell from the side of the court to tell him what to do. Like, he just knew where to be, what to do, and when to do it. You know what I mean? So I'm super excited to see that. Sad for Billy minutes, man, because Billy really has been impressive. Like, I like what I've seen from Billy, but I think it's time for us to kind of go into a new direction, and I think Larry Nance could be somebody good to bring us to that.
Greener pastures.
But you know one thing, right? You know how I like about Larry? He's taking the initiative to teach the young guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hear him all the time in interviews talk about Jackson Hayes. Right. He's always on about his defense and rebound. Like, Jackson, when the last time Jackson had somebody like that's been doing it as long as Barry and as effective as Barry, like, kind of show him the rules.
Yeah. You know? Well, I mean, he's had that in the past with Steven Adams and now JV, but I think Larry Nance is somebody that's like actually similar to his game.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Someone that actually relate to him, you know.
Yeah.
Someone that actually plays the positionless, you know.
Right. That's what I'm getting at.
You know,
because like Steven Adams and JV, they're like great bigs, but obviously they're more the bruiser in the paint type big. whereas Larry Nance plays a similar game to Jackson Hayes. So I think stylistically he can give him pointers that can help his game. And he's played, that rim running four position like Jax is currently, especially in the earlier parts of his career. Larry Nance was a fool, like early Larry Nance.
No,
I hope he still got some of that, but I know for a fact at one point in his career, Larry Nance was like that guy. You know what I'm saying? He was nice. But I do want to, before we get off of the Pelicans, I want to move into the last few games here. There's what, 10 games left?
10 games.
And I 10 might be too, a big spread here, but I'll just go over the next 5 and then we can kind of talk about it. So I'm gonna start with, one game at a time, and then I'll just get a win-loss from each of y'all, and then we'll go over what the ending record will be. So the first game here would be obviously the Bulls tomorrow. What's your prediction on Chicago?
It's a W.
What you think, Jerrette?
A W? It all depends. If BR plays, which
He not playing.
who knows? He's doubtful. So
I've never seen he gets ruled out on probable. So when they say doubtful, I think he's doubtful.
Yeah.
I think he's really not playing.
And I just understand for what though? You say your hamstring is good and you had the flu. Why are you still out? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's something going on with this, man.
You're softer than fucking paper napkins, man.
I think they're saving him for that Spurs and Lakers game because that's back to back. So this Bulls game really doesn't really matter, honestly. I mean, it matters, but that's in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't. So I think they're gonna save him for for that 2-game span of the Spurs and Lakers game. I think that's what counts.
And I'm with you, Jared. Like I think if BI played, I would say W. But since he's not playing, that kind of it give us more what we saw against Charlotte and the Hawks, which was we won that game against the Hawks, but that could have easily been a loss. So I'm gonna go ahead and say L. What's your final take?
I'm gonna say a close L. They play him tough, but I think they end up with L.
All right, so me and you both got L. We got the tiebreaker, Dan. So we going loss against the Bulls. Saturday we're gonna be playing the Spurs. I think that's another W, just because they show what they can do when they know that they gotta win those games. Anybody disagree with that? Everybody think W against the Spurs?
I say W. Close W. I don't think it's as much as a blowout like the last game in San Antonio, but
yeah,
I say close W.
All right, and then obviously the game everybody want to see Sunday. We got the Lakers. What you say, Dan?
Oh man,
15-point win.
Say, Jared.
Man, I want them to blow their ass out.
That's a fact.
I want a 30-point ass whipping.
That's a fact.
That's what I want.
I can't guarantee the 30-point ass whipping, but I definitely think it's a W. Like just the way they play, the Lakers, they gotta really, really play for a W. Like I've been watching them closely since we've been in this little standing race, and every time they play, I'm gonna be watching them tonight. But whenever they do win, they really have to all be clicking and playing. Like they be needing to get a lot from those guys who aren't capable of giving a lot, at least not on a night-to-night basis. So I'm gonna say W for the Lakers too. Then we got the Trailblazers.
Before you move on, it shows a lot that they are sitting LeBron for the next 4 days just for that Pelicans match. They're scared.
I feel like they almost have to. Like because obviously there's a media narrative around the Pelicans. Like people still view us as the poverty franchise. We a trash team. We one of those on the schedule where if somebody team doesn't beat us, they damn, that was a bad loss. Which I don't think is the case anymore. I think especially post All-Star break Pelicans, we're not that team. So they know that this is essentially 2 games in the standings. So they gotta play us. LeBron gotta be ready to play against us. So I think that's why he doing that. But going into that following week, we'll have the Trailblazers. What do y'all say? I think that's an easy W. Dan, you agree?
Big W.
All right. And then we have the Lakers again following that one. Everybody got the same.
I want another African Ryan, another one.
All right. And then that Sunday, April 3rd, we got the Clippers. What do y'all say?
Personally, I think they dropped that one.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know how the Saints always have that one stinker. You know that game that they should always win, but they want to find a way to lose.
Yeah.
I think this is the game for the Pels. They come off a high, they come off a high, high energy game, and then they just fall right back down to it.
Yeah. I could definitely see that because so far, just looking at what we got here, we got them going 4-1 over the next 5 games, which is extremely optimistic, I think. But it's possible. You know what I mean? Like I believe they could easily do that. I almost expect it, but we are still the Pelicans, so you never know. But we got them going 4-1 over the next 5. I don't know if anyone of y'all know this off the top, but there's the last 2 games of the season are like to be decided times. I'm assuming that's like the delayed games from Memphis and the Warriors. Anybody know about that?
Yeah, they're probably gonna just depending on what the standings look like and how important the games is gonna probably determine whether or not they be on prime time.
Okay, so that's why that makes
like
sense.
Of Dallas sports.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But I think I don't know. Both of those teams will probably be resting people at that point. That's like what the 2 and 3 seed.
Yeah, but it might be important for the Pels though.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it could be like a elimination game, one that we gotta win to get in. You know what I mean? So we'll keep an eye on that, man. I do feel confident in where we are, especially if we get Zion back. I think mainly, and I guess I can ask this before we get off of the Pelicans, but just looking at the season as a whole, and I'm gonna start with you, Dan. Looking at the season as a whole, would you consider this season a success? And what do you think the ceiling is if we actually get into that playing game, like best case scenario?
I would consider success, especially without Zion being out the whole year. So definitely, and getting somebody, another running mate, part of a little trio, was definitely something that we needed. So I would definitely consider it a success. I think it can make a little noise, man. We'll be the 8th seed no matter what, more than likely, if we get in the play-in. So we can be the 8th seed. So we're probably gonna be facing the Suns. I think we could take 1 or 2 games from the Suns. I don't think we'll win that series. But unless we get Zion back and they go bazonkers, or you never know. CJ might average 40 a night. It just depends, but anything can happen. But I just think over a 6-game series, a 7-game series, I'm taking the Suns. I just don't think we're ready playoff mentality yet. I do think we get the 8th seed, though. I do think we win the playing game, and we actually make the playoffs, and we lose. But I do think it'll be a great stepping stone for us to catapult ourselves next year. Kind of like the Grizzlies did. The Grizzlies made the play-in last year. They won the play-in game. They won 2 games. And then you see where they are now. Now they made that jump. They're a top 4 seed in the playoffs. So I expect that same jump. So we'll see.
Yeah, and then same question for you, Jerrette. Like they get in the play-in. What's the ceiling? Because I think we can pretty much agree that just them being in this position without Zion the entire year is a success. because I would agree with everything Dan said. Like I would consider this season a success, but once we make it into the play-in, what's he ceiling for the team? Best case scenario.
Best case scenario, I got him winning, maybe taking two. Maybe taking two from the Phoenix Suns. I think Phoenix is just too much of a well-run, well-coached team. I think Monty is doing a hell of a job with that team, and then they expecting Chris Paul back. So we all know what Chris Paul does every time he faces the Pelicans. So I feel like they maybe take two, maybe, but I just don't see him getting more than that because Phoenix is just too good of a team.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. Like me personally, I think if we make it into the play-in, extremely high chance of winning it and actually, making it into the actual playoffs. I don't think that it's like a sure we would lose to the Suns because I do think like we would be in the eighth seed, but I don't think we fit the mold of a typical eight seed team. Like that's usually a fringe team. Like I look at teams like, you know, I was gonna say the Timberwolves, but they actually been playing really well lately. But if you can remember the Timberwolves from last year, like they were just like you look at them, they were a good team, but you knew like as far as they just didn't have the firepower to really make a deep run. Like nobody would have guessed that. I think the Pelicans are better than that. Like I think they could steal some games and they could even possibly beat the Suns in the series. I think personally, like just looking at the talent, there's a lot of little tangibles that would have to go our way, for us to actually pull that off. And I think if we were to somehow escape that first round, then it's like unlimited possibilities. I ain't gonna say championship, but if we were to make it at the first round, it's like the ceiling is that. You know what I mean? Like I think they could do that if they
I
got past the
do
Suns.
I do think the X factor is probably going to be Larry Nance and Zion. I think if they do get that talent wise, they're on par with anybody in the league. I mean, they got much talent. So I do think if Larry Nance come back and he's able to stabilize that backup center position, along with Jackson Hayes and Jose, and I mean, I don't know who they're gonna play at two, but I mean, I'm sure they're probably gonna play Najee, but I
Oh,
mean,
no.
but I mean, but I think Jose can rein him in. I think Jose can keep Najee under control in the second unit. Najee by himself on the starting lineup was a ham. But I think him with Jose, that's a great defensive backcourt. They both hustle and play hard. Um, and then him and Larry Nance and Jackson at the four. Um, man, like that's a nine. That's at least a nine deep squad right there. Nine deep that we could run out there and keep Jonas fresh and everything, and Zion fresh. And I think that because at the end of the day, man, I done seen DeAndre Ayton get bullied by Zion. I mean, I done seen that, whenever Zion last full year, Ayton couldn't hold Zion jock strap. So I'm not afraid of no rim protection. The only thing that scares me is latched on the shooters. We just seem to lose all 3-point defensibility against the Suns. Like we leave people wide open.
That's been a theme of the year,
Ridiculous.
though.
I mean,
Hey,
that's the only thing I could also like really just get really worried about. But as far as talent and us being able to hang with them, yeah. I think the difference is it's going to be Booker and Chris Paul in the late clutch moments of the game. Being a closer.
Book don't scare me though, man. Like Book will have to do what he did the last time we played the Suns, 4 games. Which I just don't see that happening where he just in that mode where no matter what he put up is in. Like I just don't see that happening for 4 games. Cause he has that motor, and I do think that, them making it to the finals and losing, that's gonna put like a different fire in them. Like they know what it feels like and they want it. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, if we meet the Suns, we gonna tear their ass. Like I can't say that. You know what I mean? But I don't think the Suns would look at the Pelicans and be like, yes, we got the Pelicans. It's an easy, you know what I mean? They're gonna have to play us. And I think that in itself is a success for the year. Like to where we can look at a 1 seed, a 2 seed, and be like, yo, they don't want to play us. Which to me, that's all you can ask for. Then you go into it, you have one more good off season. Like if they have another off season where they improve like they did this past off season, next year we the Grizzlies, we the Suns. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much all you can ask for. So no matter what happened at this point of the season, even if they make it to the play and lose, I'm still optimistic for the direction that we're going in. I think this year as a whole was a success, especially a success of showing Zion, like, hey, you're not over here by yourself, dude. Like all this rumors that we hearing that he was unhappy and he not gonna play another game for us. He want to be somewhere else. He not gonna sign an extension. I think we can pretty much kill that. Like there's still gonna be people on Twitter that they tweet stuff out for headlines and trying to get a quick one, but I think it's more than obvious that the Pelicans are not just Zion and a bunch of bums, which is what it has been in the past with Anthony Davis. So kudos to Griff. As much as we could talk shit about him, he has done a good enough job for me to call this season a success. No matter what happened from this point, I'm happy with the progress that was made. And next year it's gonna get scary, man. It's scary hours. But anyway, we can move on. We can get off the Pelicans, man. Um, let's see. Your boy Jameis, 2 years, 28 million. What you think, Dan? Good signing, or you had your mindset on something else?
Eh, I'll be real. I really thought we had the show in the bag, but obviously he had things in mind. Obviously he wanted the bag. I think it was less about winning. He just wanted to go and get as much money as he could, as much money as he could. And I don't think the Saints were willing to give up to future the whole franchise and give a guy $253 million guaranteed over 5 years. I just don't think they were ready to do that, and I can respect that. But this contract, I'm happy to have Jabo back. I think this is a definite approval deal. I think he got market value of what he's going to get anywhere else, but they didn't commit to him long term. I think this is another approval deal. I think if he comes out light on fire this year, like he did last year and finish the season, I think they'll extend him next year and actually commit to him long term. And to me, it also screams bridge QB. That's what it screams. I think um, Dennis really wants to maybe get somebody else in, whether it be a quarterback late or real early. I've seen mock drafts taking quarterback from the first round to the third. So if they do take a flyer on a quarterback in the first 2 rounds, I think it'll be a bridge QB time for Jameis. But like I said, he can put all that shit to rest if he comes out and slinging like Aaron Rodgers did. They drafted a quarterback in the first round. If Jameis come out and throw 40 touchdowns and lead into the conference championship, that fucking rookie quarterback gonna sit the fucking bench and ride pine like Jordan Love did. And Jameis only 26, so that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's a definite approval deal. Good money, money that he didn't have last year. I think it was 21 million guaranteed. So right at what 10 point something million a year guaranteed. So good pay raise, and like I say I'm pulling for James. I was a big fan, so I'm hoping he come out and I say it's not really a back step in the locker room either. He already fits in. They already like him and fuck with him heavy. So it's gonna be keeping that train moving, man. Just go ahead and keep him moving, and we'll see how they surround him with some weapons, so he's not out there throwing to your local beer man or mailman.
Yeah, and I can agree with that for the most part. I think Dan gave a very political ESPN answer. I'm gonna say this: stop fucking with my nigga Jameis, man. He deserved it. I think it was a slap in the face that we even entertained the Deshaun Watson stuff in the first place. I was never with leveraging picks for the next 4 years, even entertaining the thought of giving 230 million to a dude that could potentially be suspended for half the year. I was never with that, man. Jameis came in last year, did what he had to do. He went 5-2. He showed that he could command the locker room. People respect him. You know what I'm saying? He did enough to earn what he got this year. He should have got that from Go. You know what I mean? I don't even like the fact that we even stopped for a second to entertain the Deshaun Watson thing. And that didn't have nothing to do with his case or nothing like that. We ain't even got to get into that part. I'm just saying from a pure football standpoint, I like Jameis. I think they made the right decision. This is the decision that I wanted them to make from the go. But Jerrette, I'll move on to you. I need your reaction. Your real reaction. Just especially looking at the quarterback landscape, right? So there was a couple of the options that we could have went. I know most people didn't like Jimmy Garoppolo, but that was an option. Baker Mayfield looking for a home, that was an option. Do you think that the Saints made the right decision?
All right, I'm gonna just start with this. That blasphemy you just spoke about not
Hey,
facts.
Y'all can call it what y'all want to call it.
Yes.
I like the
That-
organization making the best move for the
That's-
organization.
Ryan, that was complete blasphemy. Deshaun
Call
Watson
it what you want.
is head and shoulders better than James Winston.
That is a fact. That is
So
a
why
fact.
would
Let
we
me
entertain
but-
as an option?
let me explain why I feel that way. What I said is definitely not me saying that James Winston is a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson. What I'm saying is we are obviously depleted as far as offensive weapons. You got people like which we're gonna get into in a second. You got holes to fill. Taryn just got a 5-year deal with Miami. Like there's needs that need to be taken care of. It get real hard to do what we talking about when you tied 230 million to somebody who might not even play half the year.
Well, let me stop you there because the Saints wasn't ever going to get Deshaun Watson to it.
Well, then we lost. We lost from the goal. There
That's
shouldn't
what
even been
I'm
no
saying.
entertaining it.
Well, Cleveland is desperate. The only reason they offered him $230 million guaranteed because they were so desperate to get Baker Mayfield out of there and to remove him from the locker room. They offered this man the largest contract in NFL history.
That was on them though. They
That
should
was
have never
the
came
only-
out.
Yeah, nobody wasn't giving them that. The
Nobody
Falcons-
was doing it.
Well, the
That's
Falcons
what
could.
shows-
That
Well, that too, but no one's gonna give this guy $230 million guaranteed. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have that guaranteed money. Anyways, beyond the point, it never happened, right? So let's move on. James was a solid plan B, and it worked out. I am satisfied with that. Now let's just see what he can do without Sean Payton. We all know SP was a quarterback whisperer, so now he only got Pete Carmichael. So I think Pete Carmichael is a good OC. I think he'll do good. That's just my opinion.
So
But-
do we continue to say that when Jameis go out and throw for 40 touchdowns, maybe 8 interceptions, lead the league in passing yards? Like
We're not doubting James. We know what James can do. He threw for 5,000 yards already. Is if he the matter of the point is that can he not throw as much interception? Can he be content like he did last year with just taking the check down, not forcing anything? That's the big if for James.
I think he can.
If he can do that, then James will lead this team to 10 plus wins. If he can do that, they get some weapons around him. They get him another 2 wide receivers. Get you a tackle, whatever the case may be. I think Jameis can thrive in New Orleans. You got a healthy Mike Thomas coming back. Let's see if Mike Thomas all the way. Let's see if he's bought in. If he's bought in, if you get
he
a
bought
healthy
in.
Mike Thomas.
He posted on his story whenever they
Come on.
re-signed Jameis, he posted something. Damn, I don't want to misquote him, but it was something along the lines of now we control the narrative. No excuses.
Yeah.
He's
I
bought
do-
in.
I do think Sean did rein Jameis in a little bit. Like whenever Jameis did do something stupid, and Sean gave him that death stare. You know what I'm saying? Like Jameis, took that and like, all right, well, I'm gonna stop acting stupid and throwing like some dumbass passes. You know what I'm saying? I just think without him on the sideline, like he might get away with a little more of that dumb shit and think he could just start, forcing passes and taking more chances like that. But he knew with Sean that wasn't happening. He knew Sean was gonna get on his ass. So I just think that might play another factor in him turning over the ball as well.
Well, I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that he knew he was in a prove-it situation. And he still is, kind of, but I think now he has a little more, a little more cushion for them to open things up. And I want to see, because we talked about it at the beginning of last season. Like, Jameis was never really fully let loose. You know what I mean? Like, we knew what the defense was doing, and Jameis could get away with being somewhat of a game manager, and they could still win games. It was more so you don't have to be great, just don't make mistakes. Now, will we be able to continue that type of defensive production? I don't know. But I'll tell you this, if they give us at least 70% of what they gave last season, and you combine that with Jameis having a little more freedom, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be scary. They're gonna have to give him a real extension. We ain't gonna be talking like 2 years from now. We ain't gonna be talking about who this QB is that we drafted. They could draft him if they want, but Jameis will play well enough to where that's not even a conversation. Like, I really do think they give him that opportunity. We're not talking about whoever bum QB we drafted at the end of the first round. It's just not. That's not gonna be the conversation. I'm tired of people. I feel like anybody who is having Jameis doubt is not a real Saints fan. They ain't been watching. That's my opinion. Jameis Winston will get it done. That's a guarantee. If he don't get it done, they can take it out on me.
You sound like me last year, Ron. You drinking that Jameis Kool-Aid, huh?
He gonna get it done, man.
I like Jameis, man.
I really hope
I'm pulling for him.
I agreed then, and I'm still he's done nothing to show me otherwise, is what I'm saying. He's done nothing, especially for me to throw away my picks for the next 4 years and pay $100+ million, which is what we was gonna have to pay. Y'all could say we wasn't gonna give him 230, but we was gonna have to pay him. You know what I mean? It was gonna be a payday attached to that.
Extension. I don't think he was gonna get 253, but I do think it was gonna be around that 200 million mark. I do think they'll commit at least that's a 40 million a year, so you get a 5-year extension. So about he probably will get definitely. He was gonna get right. He don't have more than Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is getting 45, so he was getting between that 45 to $50 million range a year. So I think if he did sign an extension, a 4-year extension, it was gonna be around that 50 million mark. So I think the Saints were willing to go that far.
So Dan, you think that Deshaun Watson, because we can agree that Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback than Jameis Winston, but you think he $40 million a year better than Jameis, plus losing your picks for the next 4 years.
That's what the market's called for, though. Because you can sit here and tell me that Dak Prescott is anywhere close to Deshaun Watson as a quarterback.
But the question that I'm asking is, do you think that he's $40 million a year better, plus losing out on picks for the next 4 years? I don't think so. I think the answer is clearly no. Like, clearly no. I'm not crazy when I say these.
I don't think we're going to lose all our picks, man. We're just going to lose our first-round picks. Like I said, we're going to mortgage 3 first-round picks.
I mean, not
and maybe
all
a 4 this year. I still think we could have built around him, but I just think there's a reason why Cleveland and Atlanta went all in on that, because Cleveland had a quarterback, Atlanta had a quarterback. Atlanta had Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is still
Cleveland had a quarterback, but he was lost. They put all their eggs in that basket. As soon as they came out, said we want an adult at QB, and the fire was burning.
But Atlanta, Matt Ryan can still take some out of the Super Bowl. I think Matt is still capable of. He got to have the right pieces around him. Of course, good strong running game. Yeah, man.
I mean, the Colts is nice, but he ain't getting out the AFC. He's not.
No, it's too tough. It's too tough. But I'm saying, like, I'm just saying, like, for you to just say fuck Matt Ryan, like we're going somewhere else, we'll throw anybody you want to go ahead and get him Atlanta that's showing that he was definitely worth the $200 million. You know, and I could agree with that. I think he's worth $200 million. Now the 253 guaranteed, I don't know about all that. You know what I'm saying? That is when I start to like. So you gonna guarantee all the money to this man? Like that was the sticking point. That's why he said, "Fuck that, I'm going to Cleveland." Like they started to his contract. So if we get, let's just say hypothetically speaking, not well, technically speaking, they structured his contract with his extension that he makes $1 million in base salary this year. So if he gets suspended for half a season or a whole year, he'll lose $1 million.
Yeah.
And then all of his contract is backloaded. So he'll start making all that money. He'll start making $50 million as soon as next year. They did that for him, so that was a deal breaker.
Yeah, but that's why I say that was the type of stuff you would have to do to win that bidding war. You know what I mean? And I just think, especially looking at the depleted offense, like we need the ability to reload. Like we need the ability to add other pieces. And if we talking about adding real pieces, like pieces that cost money, you need cap space to do that. You need draft picks to do that. First round draft pick, you need that to be able to do that. I never was on board with it. I think if Deshaun Watson came with the price tag that he obviously came with, it wasn't an option for the Saints. And that's all I was ever saying. Not that Jameis Winston is a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson. Would I like Deshaun Watson on the team? Absolutely. But at that price tag, it's just there's no scenario where it makes sense to me.
No, that
So I'm
process
glad.
makes sense. I just really thought that he wanted to win.
But
He
Dan,
wanted out because he wanted to win.
I saw a tweet earlier. Nah, he wanted out because they set him up. Like he had to get out. But
I
saw a
he
tweet
wanted
earlier.
the best winning culture. You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought. I thought that's why we had
I
a chance.
never think
We were
that.
the best team.
There's maybe a handful of players in the history of sports where that type of thing is like they top priority. And I saw a tweet that said, imagine going home to your family, your wife, your mom, your kids, and saying, hey, I turned down $230 million today because I want to win some games. Like, that makes no sense. Like, I don't blame Deshaun Watson for the decision that he made. I don't blame the Browns for making the decision they made. I just don't think that was the best route for my team. Never did, even before we knew what was on the table. You know what I mean? Like you knew the price tag was gonna be hefty. But anyway, glad Jameis is back, man. Congrats to you, Jameis. Well deserved. I can't wait to see what you do next season, man. Um, Now we could talk about some key departures, man. We know that we lost Marcus Williams, but we signed Marcus May. What you think, Jerrette? Good replacement? Will you be able to fill the shoes of Marcus Williams?
Great replacement. The only bad thing about him is another guy facing a potential suspension in the beginning of the season. He got booked for a DUI, so he might be missing 3 games to start off with, probably. But so we're not gonna have him in the beginning of the season. But he was before last year he got hurt, but the year before that he was top 2 safety in the league according to PFF, the grading scale. And you know he was over Marcus Williams. He can, I think, Marcus is more of a rangy safety, kind of that deep safety, deep center field guy. A lot of great ball skills, but let's face it, Marcus Williams was not the best tackler. Took terrible angles and just wasn't good. Marcus May, he can tackle. He'll come in there, he'll stick his nose in there, he'll tackle somebody. Yeah, he can play it all. So I think, is it a major upgrade? No, because Marcus Williams is still a solid player, but a damn good replacement. Damn good, actually.
Yeah, and I like that. Like I think they had the departure and then they immediately made a move to fill the hole. I seen a lot of people, they don't think it was necessarily an upgrade, but like you said, there's a lot of things to like about Marcus May. I think it's an upgrade, me personally. But what you think, Dan?
I think he brings a little more versatility to the defense. I think he's more in that Time Matthew role. Without, I wish he would have saw him Time, but I think they thought Time was a little old in the tooth and would have cost a little too much money to bring him. But I still think Time would have been a great fit. But Marcus May, like I said, he possesses that range. He's just as fast as Marcus. He doesn't have quite the ball skills. He still has some ball skills, but he can come down and drop down the box, stuff the run carrier, put a hit on the ball carrier. He can guard a tight end out the box. He can guard a receiver, depending on which one. He's a little more shiftier. He can move a little more side to side. Just doesn't have the range as Marcus, which, like I said, you could teach that. Ed Reed wasn't the fastest safety, but damn, he had the playmaking ability. So that's when we lose a little bit with Marcus, but I do think we're going to have a lot less missed tackles in the upper field and a lot less explosive plays once they bring in the secondary, because he's a lot better as far as taking better angles and making hits and putting them down one-on-one. That's the big thing I've seen with Marcus May. Like he doesn't really miss many tackles. He puts them down. Once he gets his hand on you, bro, you going down. So I do like that pick as well. Very aggressive in the free agent market with getting a replacement. I do think the $75 million with Marcus Williams was a little steep. I do think he might have. I wasn't comfortable with that number neither. $75 million for Marcus Williams. Yeah, it's a little too rich for my blood.
Yeah, and I mean, I respect it though, man. I do think that every guy deserves their payday, and if he was able to get that somewhere that he felt was a good fit for him, then more power to him. I am interested to see how Marcus May change the dynamic though, because like y'all mentioned before, he not the same player as Marcus Williams, but he brings different strengths to the defense that I think could potentially be even more of a positive than when Marcus was there. So we'll see how that play out, man. Speaking of departures,
Not to mention, Ryan, the guy played for the Jets.
yeah,
I mean, he was a top seed in the league for the Jets.
yeah,
I take him.
that's a fact. That is a fact, man. But speaking of departures, man, Taryn got him a 5-year, $75 million deal with the Dolphins. Another guy that I'm happy for, man. I'm glad he was able to go and get his payday. I'm low key kind of glad that it's not us having to pay for him to sit on the sideline. So there's that. What do you think we do to fill the void, though, Dan?
I think they're gonna bump Ramchick to left tackle. I think he'll find his home there. And I think they're gonna give Lyndon Young a shot. The tackle they drafted in the 5th round out of Kentucky last year. I think they like him a lot. He's very athletic. He's a great run blocker. I think that's somebody that they want to give a shot in training camp and see what he can do. I do still think they bring a veteran in for some competition, but I think it's Landon's Young job to lose at right tackle. And that's it, man. I said, if it doesn't work out at right tackle, then I said, I think they still have Hurst. I think Hurst is still there. So, they'll feel comfortable putting Hurst out there, too. Hurst played good for us last year. But I think Lyndon Young will be the obvious replacement. I don't think they draft offensive tackle this year. I know they always draft linemen. I do think they do draft guard, though. I think they put pressure on Cesar Ruiz and Andres Pete to know there's competition in there, and they'll draft a left guard somewhere in the draft to show that it's not all cookies and milk up front with that. I think they do put pressure on both of them and let them know that their time is ticking. I really wish we'd have got off of Andres Pete, honestly, but like I said, is what it is. We got to roll with it, but Landon Young will be the logical choice to roll right tackle this upcoming season.
Yeah, definitely. I think they'll be all right, man. I know a lot of people they've been stressing that we haven't really been making a ton of moves. Honestly, I anticipated they'd make a whole lot more moves than they did, but I do think that one thing about our front office is that even when it don't make sense, they somehow always have it under control. So we'll uh we'll see what happens, man. Is there any like wide receivers or anything out there still that we think we should go after? Because that was one thing I was super surprised they didn't even attempt to do.
Odell, Jarvis, Marquez Valdez Scanlon. There's not really no super. He can still DJ Shark is still available. I to them. I would really like for him to sign DJ Shark like that. He's coming off an ACL injury, but I would really like for him to bring DJ Shark in, man. I think that would be a perfect fit. He won't cost a lot because he got hurt, but DJ put up Pro Bowl numbers with some damn Gardner Minshew a couple of years ago, back-to-back years, and just got hurt last year. So, man, I wish they'd bring my boy DJ Shark in. I hope there is a possibility to get him in camp because, man, he's a perfect combination of 6'3". He run like a deer. He could jump. Run fast, perfect deep threat. We not no 5'9" receiver like we got running around just with speed. He's a perfect blend of speed and height and quickness and explosiveness. I really, really believe that would be the perfect fit, and we could sign him to a very friendly deal. I think 3 years, $30 million gets it done. I think that gets it done, and we have a good, solid number 2 receiver to Michael Thomas.
Definitely. Anything you want to add to that, Jared?
And not to put any salt in your take here, but I got bad news for you.
Huh?
I got bad news for you, Cat.
I
got bad news for you.
What is that?
He signed a 1-year deal with the Detroit Lions.
Oh my God!
Chuck.
1 year, $10 million.
And oh my God!
Sorry
to
Detroit.
That is terrible. I didn't even see that alert, man. I figure I would have seen that, but I guess it's
with Detroit.
I guess it went under the radar like that with Detroit. Ah, man,
so nobody wanted him, I guess.
Well, his market was small.
Yeah, he didn't have a big market because he coming off an injury. I think he tore his ACL last year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did anybody pick up Will Fuller?
No. Nah. I think they're trying to get him to Cleveland, though. They're trying to get him in Cleveland, though.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
They're showing him his ball back.
Yeah. That's tough, man. I hope they figure it out, though. You're going to need something other than Michael Thomas.
I think they like Marquez. I think they think Marquez should be number 2. I don't think they think Marquez is number 1, but I think maybe he could be number 2 to Michael Thomas, and they could use Deontay Harris a little bit more in the slot and get him on the field. I don't think they need to talk. I think Troutman came on a little better last year towards the end. He started to make some plays. I think he came into his own.
I don't know if I could take another season of it.
But that motherfucker there was dropping passes.
I don't know if I could take another season of it.
But he played better, though. I give him that. He shook back and he played better during the end. Like those last 5 games, bro, Troutman was making some plays. He was catching some shit I didn't think he was capable of doing. And he developed a little bit. He shook back, and I can respect it. But I still think they need another receiver. Another tight end.
I just think we can't roll the dice too much. Like we can't bank on people growing into what we want them to be. Like we need to get somebody that we know when they come in here, we know what they bring to the table. I feel that way about Marquez, man. Like I like Marquez. I like what I saw from him, but we gonna need something else outside of that. You know what I mean? No offense to Marquez.
I really wanted him to trade for Robert Woods. I really wanted him. And you know what? You know what it all cost the Tennessee Titans? A 5th-round pick. A 5th-round pick. That's it.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
No, not even a 5th round. I'm reading a 6th-round pick. 2023 6th-round pick. You telling me the Saints couldn't throw the Rams a 6th-round pick for Robert Woods?
I don't think they would have traded him anyways, Jared. They're scared. They don't want to play us, bro. They know they got a season of playoffs, bro. They wouldn't have traded to NFC. That's why they traded him all over the damn Nashville. They sent his ass to Nashville, bro.
That's crazy, man.
Eating that Nashville hot chicken sandwich with some pickles and coleslaw. That's what he eating. He went from LA to Nashville, bro.
The guy, he's a hell of a receiver, bro. I think he could have really thrived in a system with Jameis and Michael Thomas, and that would.
But the answer
Agreed.
is, Ryan. The answer is Zach Ertz. You bring him in on a 2-year deal.
He's
He's
old.
still productive. God, he's only 31, bro. The guy's still balling that shit for the Cardinals, bro. You bring him in, it'll solidify the tight end room. He's still a good blocker. He still gets open. And goddamn, the guy is short-handed, bro. The guy doesn't drop passes, bro. I need me a
I'll
tight
take him.
end that could go over the middle and make a damn catch. You know, you need a guy to work a little 3rd and 5. Do a stick route, boom the ball. Catch the ball, cover it up, and get down. That's what we need. We need somebody to work the seams. And Zach Ertz is that player, bro. I mean, hate to say it. I mean, and he'll be cheap. I don't think he will cost a lot. So that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, we signed
Well-
Jerrette Cook at 32.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see, man. Like, I think next week we'll have a good pod because hopefully we'll start seeing at least some type of moves. Like, I do think the Saints got one in them that make us go like, all right, that was a good pickup. You know what I mean? Hopefully. So we'll see, because I don't foresee them like relying heavy on the draft to fill all these holes. Like, they're gonna have to do something. You know what I mean? So
I do think they draft receiver. I think they draft receiver no matter what.
yeah, I mean, sure you draft them, but I think they at least bring in, you know,
A veteran.
one guy that we know we'll be getting for sure. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I had this week, man. Unless y'all wanted to add something in before we get up out of here.
Hope Quan come back, bro.
That's a fact.
Looking unlikely though.
That is a fact. But we'll be back. We'll be back next week. As always, I'll have all the social media handles in the description. Please like, please subscribe. Follow us Behind the Boot on Twitter. Let us know if y'all enjoyed the episode. If you know it's something we can work on, y'all let us know that too. We appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all next week.